Yo, what's going on? When I think about solutions to the black community, I automatically think of an architect and an engineer. Um, in terms of their jobs at building, right, new pieces of architecture, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. Um, and when they build a building, there's always a problem. So they attack their occupation as if there's a problem. They're trying to get to point A, and it's a problem because they don't know how to get to point A. So they sit down and they figure out what's available to them. They figure out how much money they have, um, how much time they have, how many people do they have that are going to work for them, what materials do they have, and all the other conceivable and inconceivable problems that they may have. And I think about the black community in the same way. There is no one clear cut way or one clear solution that's going to work for everybody. When I talk about speaking from your black experience, I do so because you can't get help if you try to talk about the black experience on a superficial level. So, what I want people to do is take a map, um, and draw a 50-mile radius around the point to which where you live. It could be your city or your exact house. I don't care what it is. And once you finish drawing that circle, you're gonna have a circle with a 100-mile diameter. And literally, that circle is your black experience. You tend to work in that circle. You tend to go to school in that circle. You tend to meet people and socialize within that circle. Now, you do leave it maybe to visit somebody else, to go on vacation, or maybe your work needs to send you out of town. But for the most part, your life takes place within that circle. So, any problems that we may have are going to be specific to our own circle. Now, of course, we're going to have people who have similar issues, but if you really break it down, everybody's circle is going to have their own unique challenges, right? They're going to have certain resources that are available and not available. Um, certain people who are around and certain people who are not around. Certain professional and academic opportunities that are there or are not there. So to say that we can come up with a solution that's going to work for everybody, man, it's kind of flawed. And I haven't even factored in maybe your socioeconomic standing or whether or not you came from a two-parent household. So if you really sit down and think about it, Black America is very diverse. What it means to be black is completely different from if somebody said what it means to be Asian. Um, the range of what it means to be Asian or anything else isn't going to be that wide. Don't get me wrong, there are differences, but it's not going to be drastic. But if you talk about Black America, more than likely it's going to be drastic. There's a lot of different people in so many different positions that it's almost impossible to say, yo, I'm going to come up with solutions. So I don't try to leave anybody out, but I'm not really doing the black community a favor by trying to give fake solutions because I'm not in their circle and I'm not even in a related circle. So I can't necessarily speak on, yo, as a black man, how do you get out of the hood? Or if you're a black woman, how do you get out of the hood? Right? The only thing that I can tell the black community on a holistic level is try to get educated. And that's it. From my background, I believe that education is the only tool that's going to help you get out of your situation. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. So I'm not saying if you get straight A's and you make it to college and you become the valedictorian that you're going to have a happy life. But all I'm saying is the odds of you doing better with an education is better than not having an education. It's the greatest tool that you can have. Right? You have a better shot at becoming a millionaire by knowing your algebra and your geometry as opposed to knowing how to shoot a jump shot or how to hook together 16 bars, right? Or how to rob and steal. So for me, it's just all a risk, it's all a gamble. But with education, I feel like it's a low risk, high reward type of activity. So that's what I push. And that's pretty much the only thing that I can do in terms of any sort of advice that would work for the black community on a holistic level. Anything else, it has to be literally on some person to person. What's your situation? Where are you from? What's around you? What's available to you? Or are you a man or are you a woman? What's going on? So I encourage people to self-reflect and think about their own situation on a personal level, because it doesn't help me nor does it help you if you come on and you're sharing an experience that's not really relative to what's going on with you, right? How can I give you a solution to a problem that you really haven't faced, right? People, I feel like African Americans want these universal situations or these universal solutions, and when people do put it out there, people get upset, people get offended, and I'm like, well, what did you want me to do? What did you want me to say? I don't know you personally, right? You try to put a solution out there and people are going to attack it because, oh, you're overgeneralizing, or you're not factoring this, you're not factoring that. Of course I'm not. I don't, try to. How can I? I don't know your situation personally. So all I do is talk about my own experience. And then, I can't stress this point, any further. That's why I'm happy that, the people who respond to my videos are people who share my same experiences. Because at the end of the day, I can help them and they could probably help me more than I can help them, to be honest with you. But, nevertheless, I try. Like I said, I try, but if I say something, people are going to be like, yo, you're overgeneralizing. And I'm like, yo, I know I am. What can I do? Right? I can only try to be as specific as possible, but it's not going to work all the time. So like I said in closing, you need to find out what your own black experience is. Find out what problems are specific to your situation, so that when you talk about issues and you talk about solutions, you're actually trying to help yourself out, and you're actually giving solutions to other people who have similar backgrounds to your own. So anyways, take it easy. God